Diving headfirst into Monterey athletics. You're listening to the Plainsman Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Monday night. I'm Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score. Mike Meeks just called. I was afraid I'd said something wrong about the track meet. You don't mess with Mike Meeks in the track meets.
And he'll get a hold of you for sure.
Yes, but he just wanted to make sure I had the schedule, so I'm glad to hear that. We're not going to talk about track. We're going to talk about soccer because you guys, I think I put this 5th year in a row you've won by district round.
Yes, sir.
And I told Mike when I was keeping up with Mike actually down there, I told him, Simon tried to be Lou Holtz with me. He tried to tell me that Abilene High was really good and they didn't have a chance, and you guys are sitting here because you had a chance. You beat them 1-0. Sounds like it was a pretty good match.
Yeah, I mean, everything we saw in Abilene High, we watched film on those guys. They're super athletic, and, I mean, they were going to cause us a lot of problems, and we knew that. And so it was one of those. If we knew that we had to play probably our best game that we've played all year to make sure that we got to survive and advance.
One thing I love about high school athletics is that there's always going to be that chance for redemption. You played them last year. You managed to beat them, but you now role reversal, and there's a lot of that this week. In the four soccer teams left in Lubbock, I think 3 of you, well, Memorial couldn't have played anybody, but the 3 of you are playing somebody you played in the second round last year. You guys play El Paso Americas. It's 1 p.m. tomorrow at the Mac Chase Athletic Complex in Artesia.
Yes, sir.
I don't need to remind you what happened against them last year. Do you guys know what happened against El Paso Americas last year?
Seriously.
Josiah was a starter back then, and Zeke was finishing up 8th grade year. So, but yeah, we were up 1-0, 60 minutes out of the 80 minutes, and then they got a water break in the second half and came out of the water break and scored probably 30 seconds right after that, and then scored their second goal in the second half of overtime. So we were right there, and then they went on a run after they beat us and went all the way to state.
Yes. Yep.
That's just kind of been what has happened the last couple years to us. We ran into Midlow, and then they went and won state, and the year before Midlow again, and they ended up going to state. So we're hoping this year it's our turn.
There you go. It's like I said, that's what's great about high school sports is sometimes you get another chance. Introduce your 2 guys here before we get too far away.
Go ahead, Zeke.
I am Ezekiel Vasquez. I'm Josiah Ruiz.
Josiah, you tell me what position you play. I remember meeting you last year.
I'm the center back.
And Zeke is the goalkeeper. I'm
yes, sir.
Make him blush here a little bit. Yeah, you guys' whole defense obviously played well against Abilene High. But the text you sent me, you said that he had a play that helped.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I told him before. I was going, that a keeper at this point now can win you a game if you just, you have that, you got to have that moment. It's going to happen at some point. And Zeke was ready, and he took his opportunity. The guy had a really great free kick, and 9 times out of 10, I've seen those go in, and he just made a really athletic play to get on it, and then got on top of the rebound, scrambled around, balls flying around everywhere, and that was the play that kind of did it for us right there. Once we got that, because we knew they were knocking on the door, and they were going to get a chance, and then once they got that chance and we stuffed it, we were able to kind of salt the game away after that, because then you just know the way the game flows, and you said they're going to get another opportunity, and that was the one that probably I think even they thought they were going to score that one.
Zeke, did you have any idea? This is going to sound weird. I played soccer 1 year when I was a goalkeeper, and that's hard. You got people flying at you, especially you don't look like a freshman, but you got older guys. They've been through the playoffs. They kind of know what they've got to do. When you're sitting there and you know that guys got that kick, what's going through your head in that situation?
I have to stay calm, take control, because at the end of the day, I'm on the line. I'm just having to stay ready and be ready on my toes for anything that's coming my way to help my team continue going. You guys have a unique mix, because how many freshmen?
We start between 5 and 6, rotate 7, 8 guys freshmen in one game.
But you also have some guys who've been around for a little bit.
We have 3 guys that are returned from last year. Just 3 that actually contributed every game and started and did those things. Josias is one of them. JT's another. And who's probably the other one? Jimmy Gonzalez, and then Trayshawn. And Trayshawn was one. He's injured, and he's been injured all year, and he decided he's going to go ahead and play.
That's not a bad thing for a coach.
Not a bad thing at all.
The reason I bring that up is because Zeke stepped into some pretty big shoes because you had a 3-year starter in the net, right?
We had some really good keepers, and when I knew Zeke was coming there, I just knew, okay, now we've got another one for 4 years.
No pressure, Zeke. For 4 years, you got to keep making plays like that. So actually, just got to make a few this week, Tuesday night or Tuesday afternoon. We'll talk about what happens after that.
Yes, sir.
We'll come back after the break, talk more Monterey Plainsman soccer on the High School Fan Zone right after this on 100.7 The Score.
Your inside look into Estacado sports. This is the Matador Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. We're here on a Monday night. We're glad to be back after missing last week. I'm going to call up the story here because I want to make sure I get this right. And Simon, he told me before the year this is going to be a transition year, maybe rough. 15-4-4?
15, I think 5 or 6 and 4 or 3. Somewhere in there, but yeah, right around there.
And it was a little bit different.
Definitely.
You guys... Honestly, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't mean this in a bad way. You'd send me, if you lose a match, like for the last 4 years, if you sent me a loss, I'd have to double check. I'd be like, I'd text you back and say, I don't think I got this right. It was a little bit different this year, but with that youth, you had to adjust. Let me rephrase that. How have you had to adjust the way you guys do things?
We started off wanting to continue doing what we've been doing and this formation we've been running, and it wasn't what I wanted it to look like. And so we changed our formation early in the year, and then we just weren't getting the results that we were wanting to get from it. And so we went back to just the original what we used and just planted guys in certain spots and said, this is where you're going to be. We're not going to try to move you around. I'm not looking to fit you in. This is where you're going to be for the season, and this is how it's going to go. And I think for those younger ones, it really helped them out just to know that they were going to be in a certain spot. I'm not going to try to move you from the right side to the left side. And it just kind of, I think, helped them grow into where they're at. Zeke's is different just because the keeper's a keeper. Right. And where he's at right now, I think, I didn't bring stats or anything, but I think he's probably either at 10 shutouts or eight right in there, and I think 13 is a freshman record, and then 16 is just our all-time record. So I think overall the 4-year record, he's going to have a good chance to break it, but keeper's one of those spots that you really don't mess with. You get a guy, you got it, and the other ones we were looking for fits for those other freshmen, and I think we finally, probably after that Plainview loss that kind of caught us off guard, we said that's it, I'm done tinkering with this stuff, we're going right back. And from then on, everybody just kind of locked in and said, all right, this is my role and this is what we do. So
all right, so that's Coach's answer. Josiah, grab that because you've been around for a while. How different was it for you this year with the younger guys? You still had a couple of dudes that you've played with, but did you have to think differently? Was it? I know physically you're going to do this, but did you have to approach things a little bit differently?
Yeah, because I used to just like go to the game unexpectedly, just do my own part. But now, as all of us, like we have to pick each other up and just do each other good enough to keep going. And as a senior, having freshmen on the team, it's kind of really. I guess it's kind of hard because they're stern-headed, they're so hard-headed, and so we have to keep yelling at them. And later on, they eventually just like locked in. They're like, "Yeah, we get it now." And they just grew up over a year. It's crazy how you can see a freshman grow up over a year, and they mostly did it, and they did really well because looking at us, we're one more round into the playoffs, and that's just really what helped us is that the freshmen they just grew up.
You were a freshman once.
I was going to say, I don't know if Josiah remembers this, but he was also a freshman at one time. And
in fact, he was probably on one of those teams when you guys first got this thing going the way it's going.
Yep, sure was. And he was one also that it took a little while to find where we're going to play him. He played wing. Even this season, we had to throw him up top to get a goal, and it was like we can't keep moving all that stuff around from game to game to just to figure it out. This is a long season, and so we just kind of planted him right where he's supposed to be, but he was a little hard-headed to himself when he was a freshman. So just
Zeke, what's it been like to play with these older guys? Because if Coach said that Dad played at Monterey, so you know the history and tradition. These guys had set a high standard. What was it like to come in and try to fit in with that?
Yes, sir. My dad also played at Monterey, as we mentioned that, and just growing up, I watched my dad playing. I also grew up with my older cousins, and just throughout a year, it's been good playing with a couple of older guys that you have someone to look up to during every practice, and it's just another person to keep you pushing you every practice to do good, and teaching you how to do things that freshmen may not know how to do.
You're not hard-headed, are you?
No, sir.
I will see. So Josiah's coach is going to get you guys ready. You're going to have a game plan to face El Paso Americas. You know what you need to do.
Yes, sir.
How strong is that motivation, though? You know how you guys were poised to go a long way last time. For all we know, you may have been that team that got to where they did. How motivated is this group now?
We're really motivated. We're actually really ready. We've been doing all the things we can to get ready for this game, and then them not losing really that much people is not so hard. It's literally hard on us, but we want to be that next group that beats this group to go forward and move on. So then we could tell the old heads last year that graduated that we did it and we beat this team that they couldn't beat last year.
Simon, you talked about doing things differently too. Now, Josiah, you still kind of got a baby face. For a couple of years there, you guys had some grown men. Like you could do things probably differently than you're doing them now. Coaches have to adjust, though. I'm throw some praise your way, so you can kick me in the shins if you want to. I'm going to guess you had to adjust as a coach a little bit to what you guys had to do.
I hear that from Josias and the older guys whenever it's like these youngsters will be doing stuff, and it's like, Coach, you would have made us do this and that. So, well, we're outnumbered now. There's so many freshmen out there. It's like we gotta take a different approach, but. We were one of those teams that were able to have 19-year-old seniors on our team for a couple years, and now I think Josiah's the senior. You're 17-year-old senior. So it's just even our seniors are still kind of the younger side of that. But no, it's just every year is different, and that's what I love about high school sports is you get whoever comes into your building, and that's what that's what you got to work with that year. So
you don't get to shop for the groceries.
No, you sure don't. And sometimes you get some groceries that come your way that really help out, and that's kind of what this group of freshmen really complement the small handful of seniors that I have. And so it took a little while to get figured out, and we still are trying to figure it out, and now we're going to have to figure out how to win a second round playoff game. They figured out how to win a first round playoff game, and it wasn't the way we drew it up, but they found a way, and that's kind of what we've preached all year: is just find a way to get it done when the dust settles. That we're the next team. We're still alive.
How do you do that? You got the music started, so you got to make it pretty quick here. But how do you beat El Paso Americas? That's that team that got you last year.
We just got to stay on them all game long. Can't shut off for 1 minute. We've just got to stay locked in the entire game. That's really play a full 80. And if it takes 100 minutes, it takes 100 minutes.
It took 100 last year. So 1 p.m. tomorrow, 1 p.m. Tuesday at the Mac Chase Athletic Complex in Artesia, New Mexico. Plains will try to take that next step. I'm going to try to not put any hex on you because I put one on you this time last year. I'm not going to do that. We're going to steer clear of that. We'll be back after this break to talk more soccer with the Memorial Girls when we come back after this on 100.7 The Score in the High School Fan Zone.